So is the BJP trying to divide and rule, or is the India bloc or the Congress, as the BJP alleges, indulging in fear-mongering? Our opposition parties using Muslims as a vote bank and not bothering about their welfare. That's the point that the BJP is making. Joining me on this India Today special broadcast is Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson for the BJP. Mohan Kumar Mangalam is the national spokesperson of the Congress party. On this broadcast, Atikur Rahman is a Islamic scholar and researcher. Joining us on the show, Pattabhi Raman Komareddy is the national spokesperson of the TDP. Ashutosh Sharma of the Samajwadi Party. Gentlemen, welcome on the show. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, you heard the Union Home Minister, you heard the Minority Affairs Minister, and they are accusing the opposition of fear-mongering and misleading Muslims and minorities of this country on the Waqf Bill. Respond to that, sir.
You know, it's a little rich coming from them accusing us of actually fear-mongering when that is what the entire reason of this amendment is that they have been fear-mongering all this while. For example, and this is a DMK MP, A. Raja actually said this in Parliament today, that around the time when this amendment was being envisioned, there was a huge rumor that an entire village in Tiruchirappalli had been usurped by the Waqf Board. And they went and they were testified in front of the JPC, and all of it turned out to be this large, untrue story. So the Waqf Board, first of all, I mean, there's this rumor being spread as if it's like this private institution that's going around the country, usurping private lands that don't justifiably belong to it, which is completely untrue. It's actually 8.7 lakh properties spanning 9.4 lakh acres, small properties across the country. And it isn't a private institution. It's actually a government institution. Boards are appointed by state governments, which is why I say this amendment is also anti-federal, because it seeks to take the autonomy away of those state governments and centralize the registration of all these Waqf properties as well in one central place. And apart from that, we know it's anti-constitutional by way of its violation of various articles. Article 26 being the chief. Explain to me how appointing non-Muslims to this board will actually make it more transparent. Is there an inherent accusation there that Muslims can't govern their own institutions, their own religious institutions? And by appointing non-Muslims, suddenly it will become transparent. You see the dog whistle politics that is carrying on in this amendment. It's one of many different rumors and fear-mongering that they're using to actually bring this in. And it's too much.
So let me bring in Pradeep Bhandari to respond to the 3-4 points that you've raised, sir, one by one. And Pradeep Bhandari, respond. So while the government may accuse the Congress and the opposition of fear-mongering, the opposition, or you just heard Mohan Kumar Mangalam, they're saying it's actually the BJP. One, fear-mongering. Two, fear-mongering among the Hindus. And two, it's dog whistle politics.
Well, Gaurav, let us separate facts from fiction, and I will just state facts, and I will start by quoting the certain facts. Now, in 2013, and I quote the Congress party here, the Waqf Board are not functioning properly. The Waqf Board are not absolute. What has the Waqf Board done? There are a lot of complaints on the administration of the Waqf Board. It is needed to make the administration of the Waqf Board transparent. Quote unquote K. Rahman Khan of the Congress party. I further quote another gentleman in 2013, and I begin. The Waqf Board have become a mechanism where the I'll quote it in Hindi because it is in Hindi. Waqf Board एक mechanism बन चुके हैं जिसमें जमीनों को हड़पा जा रहा है और प्रभावशाली लोगों ने कब्जा कर दिया है. Influential people have now captured the properties of the Waqf Board, which had to belong to the minority in the Muslim community. This is Shailendra Kumar, the Lok Sabha MP from the Samajwadi Party. Let me go further in 1995 and quote Sitaram Kesri. The Sitaram Kesri 1995 said that the intention of the Waqf Board is to make it more inclusive and to make their more functioning more transparent. The reality is that the Waqf Board are not being functioned properly, and they do not have the money to pay even to the mutawlis and the individuals working for them. This is what Sitaram Kesri has said. So the essential part which everybody, whether it is in 1995 or 2013, despite their appeasement politics, they could not bring in, was that they wanted to make the Waqf Board more transparent, more inclusive. The Sachar committee here on para 9.6.10 says that if you will include the non-Muslims and women in the Waqf Board, it will make it more gender neutral, and it will make it more inclusive. The Sachar committee was not formed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Waqf Board
Okay.
is not a religious board. This is not what I am saying. This is what the Supreme Court in S.V. Chiraiya Thangal versus S.V. Pukaiya in April 2024 has said. And let me quote the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court category says that the Waqf Board is an administrative one, reinforcing the board is a statutory one. It is not purely a religious authority. So it is nothing to do with Hindus and Muslims. You in India today have quoted so many properties, whether it is in Karnataka, Vijaypura, the farmers who wanted their to be heard, whether it is the Muslim families in Pune, whether it is the Christian families in Kerala. The essential change which we are doing, Gaurav, is the following, that like any government policy or a government decision can be challenged in the court, whether it is the High Court or the Supreme Court, we are making a provision that the Waqf Tribunal's decision on a normal basis, not on a writ level, can be challenged in a high court.
Okay.
And also, an individual who is the aggrieved party can directly go to the civil court, not wait for the for the tribunal's
Let me
decision.
quickly bring
I
in,
believe
let me
we are
quickly
keeping
bring
the
in
constitution
Atikur
first
Rahman.
and
Is
appeasement
this a
second.
reform? Okay.
this-
Okay, Mohan Kumar Manglam, you want to quickly respond 30 seconds before I bring
Yeah,
in Atikur Rahman?
just a very, very quick response. If this isn't a Hindu-Muslim issue, if this is not a religious institution, why does this amendment introduce a requirement that only a person practicing Islam for at least 5 years can create a waqf? So the government now is also going to determine
I
what
will
a
answer
real
that.
Muslim is.
I will answer that.
Go ahead.
Okay, quickly, sir.
I'll
30
answer that.
seconds.
No, I'll
Yes.
answer that. I'll answer that. Gaurav, there is a difference between Waqf Board and Waqf. The Waqf is ideally being given by an individual who practices Islam. But the Congress party precisely
Ideally.
in 2013 got the amendment that anybody and everybody can claim anything to be the Waqf property. And this is why we are taking it back to the initial premise of 1954. Waqf Board is an administrative board. It is nothing to do with religious matter. Waqf is a property which is donated. And in Waqf, we are not getting any non-Muslim. Waqf Board, even the Sachar committee has said that it needs to get members of eminence. And please read in 1995, it was the CPIM who was even saying to the extent that Mutawali should be non-Muslims. If you do not believe me, I will quote you the exact member of the CPIM. The member in 1995 was Sayyid Masadul Hussain. And he in fact quoted that non-Muslims should be made Mutawalis. We are not doing so. But this has been the past reality. Waqf Board is an administrative board. We want the money to be used for the benefit of the minority community. And
Let
it has
me
not
bring
been
in
happening.
Atikur
This is why in
Rahman. Let me bring in
2014,
Atikur
151
Rahman.
crore
He's a
was the
Muslim
income of the Waqf
scholar.
Board. And in
Okay,
2024, it went down to
Atikur Rahman is a
1.3
Muslim
crores.
scholar and a researcher on Islamic studies. And where do you stand on this entire debate? It's been on for almost 10.5 hours in Parliament. The government insists it wants to ensure recommendations that have been made in the past, including by the Sachar committee, are actually implemented. The inadequacies which were introduced are removed, and it will benefit, according to the government, women, children, those who should be beneficiaries. If the Sachar committee said, for example, Atikur Rahman, that 12,000 crore should come in and only between 163 and 67 crore are coming in, is that a matter of concern?
Well, Gaurav, I truly want to believe this government, our Minority Affairs Minister, the Home Minister, and the other BJP spokespersons, as they said in the Lok Sabha, that primarily the bill will be having a very far-reaching effect on my community. The Muslims will be, gaining out of it. There will be schools and colleges and universities. Gaurav, there is one single Aligarh Muslim University, the minority status of which has been tooth and nail opposed to by this government in the Supreme Court. And you want me to believe that they are speaking truly in the parliament today? Secondly, Gaurav, if really so much of revenue will be fetched by these properties, and I want my Prime Minister to then take back his word that we are Ghuspaitias, we create more children, and the Congress wants to take up all the wealth of the Hindus and spread among the Muslims. Leave Gaurav. At the one end, they are spreading all lies and defaming the Muslim community, and the panel wants me to believe the government. We will not do so.
Okay. So, Pattabhi Raman Komareddy, while the TDP stands with the government on this, the Muslim community or some representatives of the Muslim community seem to think that the government may be saying it's for the benefit of Muslims. Their motives, according to Atikur Rahman, for example, appear to be ulterior. what would the NDA as an entity want to tell people like Atikur Rahman?
See, the answer is very clear. The NDA, the NDA government, after it had brought this bill on the demand by TDP and many other parties, it had formed a joint parliamentary committee. There was a very massive consultation process that was carried out. More than 38 meetings had happened, sittings of the JPC had happened, and more than around 97 lakh petitions have been received. 25 state Waqf boards have been consulted. So all this exercise was done to safeguard the interests of the Muslims and the minority brothers and sisters.
Okay.
If the government does not have that kind of an interest, why would this exercise happen? Did the same exercise happen in 2013 when the UPA government brought about the amendment bill? Look at the discussion that is happening now in Parliament. Look at what happened in 2013. I'm asking a straight question. Did the UPA, the then UPA government, carry out this kind of an exercise? The total hours of discussion in Parliament in 2013 was only 5 hours. There was no JPC, there were no consultations, and they brought about amendments as they wanted. It is not the case now. We are going in a very democratic manner. Even the TDP had suggested 3 key amendments, which were accepted. 25 key amendments by the JPC had been accepted in the bill today. What more do we want? And the questions that we are raising today, even the figures that are shown on India Today screens today, look at the revenue of the income of the Waqf Board that is going down. Income in 2017-18 is 146 crore, and now it had gone down to 10 crore. Do they have any answer to that? And also that point of fear mongering, I'm giving you facts today. Even the Honorable Home Minister Shri Amit Shah had raised this in the Parliament. Between 1913 and 2013, the total land bank property of Waqf Board was 18 lakh acres. From 2013 to 2025, it had gone up to 39 lakh acres. 21 lakh acres added between 2013 and 2025. Where does this land come from? We are speaking facts today. Does the opposition have an answer to this? And also 20,000 properties.
Can I get Ashutosh Verma to respond to this?
One very important point. 20,000 properties which are shown as leased properties. 20,000 properties which are shown as leased properties before, now they are being shown as zero. Where have these properties gone? Are they sold to someone? So the entire exercise today is to safeguard the properties of the Waqf, to safeguard the interests of the minorities, and not to scuttle their benefits. That the people are understanding today.
Very pertinent points you're raising, sir. Very pertinent points you're raising, and I want Atikur Rahman to respond to them. As somebody who, should you be concerned if your property is disappearing, if your leased property is disappearing? But Ashutosh Verma, quickly respond to the point that's been raised by Pattabhiraman Komireddy of the TDP, when he says, look at that wide scale of consultations that have taken place now. Look at how considerations are being accepted, amendments brought in. None of this done earlier. This shows intent, participatory democracy to bring out, as they put it, a better result.
No, I think it's a big curtain. The Waqf Amendment Bill is a big curtain behind which something is going on, and I could say that this is basically a land grabbing scheme by the central government. I quote a few things about what is happening. If you look about the railways and...
Sir, that's a very grave charge you're leveling. Sir, hold on. Let me understand. You are accusing the government of using the Waqf Amendment Bill to grab land. What land? Whose land? How? Explain, sir.
The Waqf land. Yeah, explain. I am coming to the point. About the 17 lakh acre of the defense
Allow me a rebuttal, Gaurav. Allow me a rebuttal after that.
The moment he completes, sir.
Yeah, let me complete.
Go on, sir.
So among the 17 lakh acre defense land, they have started the disinvestment process of defense of public sector enterprises in 2022. And about 62,000 acre land, which was market value of about 2 lakh crore, has been sold in the petty price of 7,200 crores. What is this? And in Uttar Pradesh, the UP-ADA has signed a MOU with Adani Defense and Aerospace. Coming to the railways, in 2022, about 33 lakhs. The Modi cabinet has been changed the railway land lease and the extension which has given to be 5 years, it has been extended to 35 years now. The land lease licensing fees, which was earlier 5%, has been reduced to 1.5%. So who are the beneficiaries of these? So it's a big thing, and I think this amendment bill is basically a big curtain behind which the central government is playing.
Pradeep
After selling
Bhandari,
all
respond.
of the PSU, let me complete. And
Okay,
I
go on, sir.
just want to raise one more thing, Gaurav Sawant,
Well,
because
please.
they are talking about the business properties. The central minister was asking initially it has to supposed to be 12,000 crores to be earned from the all the lands, and we are only getting 160 crores. Are you earning the money from this religious part? Most of the lands of these Waqf Board are basically of mosque, the Kabristan, and this Dargah. How can we put a ticket on this? So this is the mindset of Bharatiya Janata Party, how to earn and extract money from the poor people. They want only money, and they want to distribute to their friends across the country. And this is the basically.
So both Pradeep Bhandari and Pattabhiraman Komareddy have their hands up. Both want to respond, but Pradeep Bhandari, quickly respond to the allegation that's being made that the government wants to take this land and then perhaps lease it out to industrialists.
Well, Gaurav, first of all, it is absolutely baseless and factually wrong. At the outset, India right now has has the highest defense export in the last many years. Let me not get towards it. He did not speak about Waqf because he's not prepared on it. I'll answer on that also specifically. It's not a bill which is being brought retrospectively. So the government is not even a party. Only those cases which are in dispute in the court will be the adjudicator, like the court is the final adjudicator in cases where even the government is a party. So in this country, even if you can challenge the decision of the government in the court of law, similarly here you can challenge any dispute in the court of law, whether it is the tribunal which was prevented. So we are giving the power, the constitutional power to the citizen from the Muslim, Christian, Hindu community, every community, to make the court the final adjudicator.
But this is not the answer of my question.
It is a retrospective bill, so there will be
Madam,
no
this
government
is not the
interference.
answer of my question.
It is the answer of your question. That is what it is.
It's not the
No,
answer.
do not
You are
deviate the
getting off the
debate.
nonsense.
If you want a debate on the defense, I can go ahead and debate. You speak on the Waqf. You have not prepared on the Waqf. The topic is Waqf. You speak on the
defense and
Waqf.
railway lands. Give me the explanation why they have given them.
Defense exports are the highest right now. If we are wrong on the defense policy,
let me for the moment stay on Waqf, on the issue of Waqf. Yes.
Gaurav,
Pattabhiraman Komareddy wants to come in.
Again, factually wrong on the masjid part.
Yeah.
Total,
Okay.
Not factually
9 lakh
Tell me
acres has been the
if the
land
explanation
of
the
Waqf.
defense
The
land
majority
and
is
railway
the
land
farmland, which is
then
1
jump
lakh
to the next
40,000
question.
acres.
You are running away because you have been caught now here. Tell me
So
the explanation
Pattabhiraman
of the defense
Komareddy,
land and railway
Pattabhiraman
land.
You are
Komareddy,
lying. The
respond.
majority land right now under the Waqf is a land of the farmer. You
Gaurav,
are standing with
Gaurav.
radicals rather than standing with the likes of
Gaurav,
Shah
I'll give you some
Babu
facts.
in 1980s.
Okay, that's again a point where I want Atikur Rahman to quickly respond, but go on, Mr. Komareddy, complete your point, sir. Only Pattabhiraman Komareddy, please.
On your debate.
Pradeep, 1 second. Gaurav, I will put some facts to my friends in the opposition. My friend in the opposition cleverly saying that the Waqf properties are only, graveyards and, mosques and masjids. But the fact is, the Waqf properties, it has 1,19,200 properties are commercial properties, 1,13,187 are houses, 1,40,784 are agricultural land. There are lakhs of properties which are commercial establishments, shops, residences, and agricultural land which were given to Waqf so that revenue can be earned and that money can be spent for the welfare of the Muslims, poor Muslims. But that is not being done today. They're cleverly saying that Waqf properties are only graveyards and mosques. It is not so. Waqf properties are being looted. And this government is now trying to safeguard the Waqf properties, increase the revenue from the Waqf properties, and spend it for the welfare of the Muslims, which the opposition does not want. They just want to loot the Waqf properties, which
They want to loot Waqf property. And Mohan Kumaramangalam, the point that Mr. Komareddy raises is something that Anurag Thakur raised in Lok
Mr.
Sabha
Comrade,
where he
these
named,
points
where
are
he,
just
where
as
he
irrelevant
named,
as-
sir,
hold on,
where
yeah.
he named Congress party leaders, named your party president, and then said there are several others in the Congress who are involved. Respond
Gaurav.
to that, sir.
Yeah, Gaurav. He said that in Parliament so he could get away without defamation. If he comes out and says the same thing, he'll be slapped with defamation and have to apologize in court for nonsensical statements made. Now, as far as Mr. Komireddy goes, let me just say that the entire JPC was an eyewash. Not a single amendment moved by the opposition was accepted. In fact, the opposition came out and said in a joint statement that there was not even a clause by clause discussion. So to say it was an extremely democratic consultative process that took everybody along is utter nonsense. So Mr. Komireddy should actually see what's happening in the news before he says that JPC and the entire consultation process took everyone along, and therefore it was a very great process that's resulting in these amendments, taking everyone's opinions along with it. That's utterly wrong. Secondly, nobody's saying that it's only graveyards or mosques, but just by the very sheer number of properties that he himself has listed and you displayed on your screen, it shows you there aren't these large land banks that the Waqf is going after and usurping. Thirdly, nobody is saying that there is not maladministration or corruption in the boards, just as there is maladministration and corruption in the hundreds of Hindu endowments, in the hundreds of quasi-government institutions, in even private institutions in our country. The point I'm making is that almost nothing that has been moved in these amendments actually helps establish transparency. Am I talking? Did I talk when you talk?
One by one. I'll permit everybody. Gentlemen, it's better for the viewer, one by one. So, Mr. Kumaramangalam did not interrupt when others were speaking. Let him complete his point. I'm coming to you, sir. Go on.
That's my simple point, Gaurav, is that of everything that's being discussed, I'm not saying that there is no maladministration. I'm saying almost every institution that is quasi-government has it. I am saying that there is nothing here that actually translates into a more transparent and a better administration, and for the BJP, who doesn't have a
You are saying
single
nothing translates into better. So the government effort right now will not improve it, is what you're saying, sir.
Is hardly a trustworthy source, as you know. My learned friend on this panel himself said that they're fighting tooth and nail to not even recognize the alleged Muslim university as a minority institution. What can we expect from a BJP government to do good for minorities? They're not honest brokers.
Pradeep Bhandari, quickly, since a direct point has been made about BJP, and then Mr. Komireddy.
Well, just to expose a fake news, this is Mr. Kalyan Banerjee himself acknowledging that there was a clause-by-clause discussion, and the member from the Congress party on your panel is spreading a fake news that there was no clause-by-clause discussion.
I'm not
just to
spreading
quote the
that.
difference between 2013 when the Congress party had formed GPC, there were 13. I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you, sir.
No, you
relax.
One
I did not interrupt. No. You were spreading it. You said there was no clause-by-clause discussion. You said there was no clause-by-clause discussion. Let me make my argument, please. Okay? No, it is Mr. Kalyan Banerjee on record. Just go and read. In 2013, when you formed the JPC, there were only 13 sittings. In our JPC, there were 31 sittings. When you formed the JPC, there were only 22 meetings. And ours, it was 36 meetings. When you formed the JPC, only 18 stakeholders were consulted. We have consulted 284 stakeholders. When you formed the JPC, only 14 states were consulted. We have consulted 25 state Waqf Board. When you formed the JPC, only 32 memorandums were issued, and 32 in person 32. We have got 97 lakh suggestions. So stop lying. If you can use the power to do appeasement in 2013, in 1995, we have the power to implement Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ambedkar's constitution.
You are accusing the Congress of appeasement. You are accusing the Congress of appeasement. Why? On what basis?
Yes.
Okay.
But you're not willing to take it yourself.
Okay, Mr. Komireddy, quickly complete your point. I want to come to Atikur Rahman and Ashutosh Verma. I want to bring in our other guests. No personal allegations against all our guests is my request to all our guests, please. But quickly, Mr. Komireddy, complete your point.
Gaurav,
Yes, respond, sir.
To Mr. Kumaramangalam, he had just now said, yes, there is corruption in the Waqf Board. And on the other hand, in the 2013 amendment, they made amendment which kept the courts, which kept all the grievances out of courts jurisdiction. Why did they do that? When they know that there are things that are not happening in a legal way, why did they keep the courts out? What was their intention? Why? That is my straight question. You yourselves are saying, yes, there is corruption in the Waqf Board, and you keep the courts out. How can you safeguard the interests of the people, that are related to the Waqf Board if you keep them out of the court's jurisdiction? Why did you do that in 2013? Why did you make that amendment? Can you answer that?
Okay. Sir, there's breaking news that's coming in, and we have a reaction from Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, who slammed the Waqf Amendment Bill. He's put out a message on social media platform X to say, and I quote, the Waqf Amendment Bill is a weapon aimed at marginalizing Muslims and usurping their personal laws and property rights. This attack on the constitution by the RSS, BJP and their allies is aimed at Muslims today, but sets a precedent to target other communities in the future. The Congress party strongly opposes this legislation as it attacks the very idea of India and violates Article 25, the right to freedom of religion. So Rahul Gandhi's reaction comes in, and this is in completely the way the Congress and the opposition have argued their case in the Lok Sabha, saying it's a weapon against Muslims, it aims to marginalize Muslims, it usurps their personal laws, it aims to usurp their property right, it's an attack on the constitution by the RSS and the BJP. It is an attack on Muslims today, as Rahul Gandhi claims, but once this is done, it will set a precedent to target other communities in the future. The Congress party strongly opposes this legislation. It attacks the idea of India and violates Article 25, the right to freedom of religion. Mohan Kumar Mangalam, the points that Rahul Gandhi raises is the point that BJP says this is the fear-mongering that the Congress party is doing. It did not do anything to benefit the Muslim community when in power, but now is fear-mongering, sir.
How exactly is it fear-mongering, Gaurav? How does that even relate? What he's talking about are facts. And I said this at the top of the show. Yes, I said this at the top of the show that this amendment bill is not only anti-constitutional, it's also anti-federal. And he's mentioned a specific article. I've even mentioned more than those, saying that it's a violation of Article 26, Article 14. He talked about Article 25, but there's also Article 15. And we can go through every point there. So there is no fear-mongering here. He's making a very valid point based on the facts in the amendment bill. Where exactly is he doing any sort of fear-mongering? Did you hear in his speech him saying that retrospectively it's going to affect them? No, he didn't say that.
Okay,